Alright people, let me do this on this phone real quick. Sodda Pop Kid coming to y'all direct as I always do. Down here in Glenshaw, PA, once again for the third year with all my buddies. Say hi! Hi! Alright, I'm down here teaching them some pop locking like I did for the last 3 years. Got my man DJ Big Ed here.
What's up?
He was just doing an introduction of when I first met him some years ago back in some ministry that we were doing. And I've always did a little bit of pop locking as well as gospel rap. I was once a gospel rapper, but I backed away from that, and I was also dancing in ministry as well. So, I'm going to take y'all back to some history. Once again, now some of y'all heard this, some of y'all are new. Okay, the history of this dance that I do called pop locking, which started back in the 70s in the West Coast in California. And you got all these parts of California. You got Los Angeles, you got Inglewood, you got the Bay Area with San Diego, San Francisco, and places like that where all these different styles started at. Just looking at like a sport like basketball, football, hockey, soccer, and golf. All of those sports started somewhere. Someone started each one of these sports individually, and as the years went by, the sport got better and better and better as individuals came into the sports with different moves and different styles of the game. If you understand what I'm saying. So, this dance, when it started in California, it started out in different parts of California. So each part of California had a new style that they brought to the game. And it's either you learn one of the styles or all of the styles, if you choose. Now we can take it back to the robot. Okay, the robot was the first thing. Robot's been out so long that no one knows who started it. The robot. Now, there's some people who get credit for doing it, like Shields and Yarnell. Have you ever heard of them two? You ever hear of Shields and Yarnell?
Yes.
Okay, they go way back. They were a robot couple. They had a TV show where they was always doing skits, robot skits, man and woman. Robert Shields still robots to this day. Now, we're talking about way back in the 70s, maybe even earlier. Okay, so one of the guys is credited for creating a couple of styles within the pop locking dance form, whose name is Boogaloo Sam Solomon. I went back and asked him and a couple other guys who created the robot, and all of them say, we don't know who created the robot. Goes back as far as Marcel Marceau. Okay, so that's one of the art forms, and then after the robot came locking, which was created by Don Campbell, Lock Campbell, back in like 75. I am not a locker. I don't lock. That's one of the styles I do. I played around with it, but I'm not considered a locker. After locking came boogalooing, the electric boogaloo style, puppet, popping, then came waving and came tutting and animating and strobing and 3D and hitting and down stopping and all these other styles that came out by certain individuals. Came out with these styles in the 70s. So somewhere around 77, Boogaloo Sam started creating popping, the puppet, air posing, and electric boogaloo style. So that's that. And then this dance started moving into other states like Chicago and places like that. And when I first saw the dance in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where I grew up, I first started seeing the pop locking style and waving and all of that somewhere around late 1979 and like 80. I was like in middle school and elementary school. And I wasn't interested in what I saw at first. I wasn't interested in it. I always liked locking, I always liked roboting, never got a chance to learn it. Some of the guys responsible for bringing it here, Detroit, Michigan, Ed Dickerson, San Diego, Tony, San Francisco, Eli Crawford, Cleveland, Ohio, Leon Sibley, a.k.a. Snake, California Kid from Inglewood, my man Brian, Beware Starts from Chicago. They brought it here. Some other guys might have brought the dance here in other parts of Pittsburgh who I had not met, but these guys I did meet. and I did start learning a little bit from each one of them, and then started practicing it until I got better at it. I had 800 left feet. I was not good at dancing at all. I wasn't a born dancer. I wasn't a born basketball player. I wasn't a born graffiti artist. I was not a born barber. I could not do none of that at first. I had to learn it and practice until I got better. I'm sure y'all all understand that. When you learn something and you're interested in it, you practice it until you get good at it. True or false?
It's true.
True,
Well,
absolutely.
so did me. I wasn't naturally none of those. Okay, so I picked up the dance from each one of them guys, knew each one of them guys. Cleveland, Snake went back to Cleveland back in '86. California Kid, which was one of my best friends, was in a group that I started called the Robotic TikTokers. In Pittsburgh, we had several dance groups, several individuals, males and females as well, that was good at this dance. It wasn't just the men. There was Lena Leonard, Missy Copeland, all the names I can remember. I have a list of everybody. What I said, Lena Leonard, she was a roboter. Missy Copeland, she was a waver. They'll come back to me. But there were so many of us back then, and that style was really in style back then, and that's what we did. We hung out downtown, we battled each other, we entered talent shows and competitions, yada, yada, yada. Now let's go to me. I learned it, started learning in '81, started a crew after high school called the Robotic TikTokers when I was 19. Then we got a crew, the late Mayor Richard Caligiuri, that was the mayor back then. Do you remember him?
I do, yeah.
Okay. The guy that became our manager was good friends with him. So, Mayor Richard Caligiuri ended up hiring us to dance at Parks and Recreation during the summer. So he gave us a summer job dancing, which was fun. We just would go to different places and dance for the kids and get paid. He got a budget of $3,000 at the time, in which we got paid, and other places where our manager got us to dance at. And then there was other crews called, like, there was Mechanical Wizards, there was the Entertainers, Rock City B-Boys, Berg City Breakers, Breakatrons, and all these crews that we had in different parts of Pittsburgh. Boom. Then the dance ended up playing out. Well, it faded away sometime in '86. It was break dancing and poplocking. As you know, the break dancing is the stuff you do on the floor and all of that. They just had breaking in the Olympics.
Yeah.
Breaking was in the Olympics this year. That's what break dancing looked like. But I'm a pop locker. I'm not a break dancer. I am a pop locker. Something in which Michael Jackson used to do.
Yes.
Which Michael Jackson was taught how to pop by Bruno Falcon, a.k.a. Popping Taco. Popping Taco passed away 2 years ago. He taught Michael Jackson for 16 straight years. He taught Mike. He was his personal dance instructor. As the Electric Boogaloos, one of the crews back from California, which Boogaloo Sam started, who created the Electric Boogaloo style, him and his brother Poppy Pete are still teaching a lot of those kids in other countries. These guys are in their 60s, still teaching over in other countries and coming back here. France, China, Japan, Germany, Korea. They taught a lot of them. So if you're seeing a lot of them kids that's dancing now, it's been taught by Boogaloo Sam and Poppy Pete and the Electric Boogaloos to this very day. Okay, this very day. Them guys was way back in the 70s before I was. I guess I have met them. I met Pete, I met Sam. I got pointers from them and what to work on. I had them here in Pittsburgh twice. Pete was just back here for a third time for a contest that was thrown by a friend of mine named Mario Quinn. Okay, Pete was back, and these guys are the creators of this dance. So, with that being said, when the dance left, the new style of dance came in called hip-hop dancing. So, if y'all know who MC Hammer is, y'all don't know who MC
Oh,
Hammer
come on,
is?
you better know who MC Hammer is.
He didn't create hip hop dancing, but the dance he does is called hip hop dancing. That was not poplocking. That was not break dancing. That's called hip hop dancing. Just to give y'all, he didn't create it. That was created in New York. The break dancing was created in New York. Poplocking, California. Boom, two separate areas. Them guys in New York and California combined. They wanted to learn breaking. They wanted to learn popping. Boom. So popping is now an element of hip hop. Bam. Here you go. That too much information?
No, I like it. I think that's really good to know because, hey, just like anything, here we go. I always relate things to food. I'm a big guy, okay?
Right.
So with that said, you could easily say, hey, I'm going to make a cake, and basic things of cake is what? Flour, eggs, water, some sugar, okay? Well, the thing is all of a sudden you can start adding a little element of this, a little bit of that. Hey, you might want to add some vanilla, you might add some cinnamon, you might add some apples, and all of a sudden you got all these different style of cakes. But nonetheless, it all has some of the basic concepts. So I think what you're trying to say, all these different dances, there is still that root where it all started back in the 1970s.
That root.
Yeah.
So that was a good way to put it, Ed. So that's what I'm trying to explain to y'all. So before I teach somebody something, I'm going to give you an introduction so you'll know where it came from and what it is and why. Because you got all these styles. You got modern jazz, ballet, tap dancing, river dancing. They got down there in Memphis, they got Memphis jockeying, this style called Memphis jockeying. It's older, but it's new, sort of. So you got that. What dances am I missing? Well, y'all get the idea. Those are all separate styles of dancing. None of them is the same as the other. You understand? So within pop blocking, there's different styles. And the styles I do is popping. Another name for popping is called hitting. So you got these guys in California calling it one thing or the other. There's waving, there's king tutting, there's roboting, there's animating, there's slides and floats. Like the thing Michael Jackson did backwards and everybody was calling the moonwalk. No, that's not called the moonwalk. That's called backsliding. Backsliding is what that's called. Michael Jackson never said it was called the moonwalk. One of his albums was called Moonwalker, and everybody assumed that all of this stuff that he was doing like this was called the moonwalk. No, it's called slides and floats. Is the proper name of those. So that is that. So now we go from here to, and other guys I met in California, I'm going to throw your names out. The guy that has a poppers picnic every year out in Carson. My man Midnight. There's Midnight. I met a lot of the OGs from California because they were watching me on Facebook. I'm watching them. And a lot of them didn't know Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania even had poppers. And I'm the one that kept the torch lit for all of our OGs that do not do it anymore. Some had families, some here no more, they're gone. We got some that got jobs, they just got out of the dance and never got back into it. Like there's certain people that used to be cheerleaders and they ain't no more, and they were homecoming queen and they ain't no more. And they did play football, they did wrestle, and they don't no more. Well, to me at age 60, yes, I'm still involved in this culture. Yes, I still dance. I still practice. It's a culture. I'm always going to be in the hip-hop culture. Always. Always. So, I'm going to do a demonstration and show y'all what this all is. I'll explain it to you before I even have him put on any music and what I am doing. Okay, you got dancers and people doing whatever they do. They can't explain what they're doing. It's like, why are you doing it? If you can't explain what you're doing, if you're running your head into the wall, have an explanation of why you're running your head into the wall. Because I like the pain, or I like just running my head into the wall. Have an explanation of it. True or false?
It's true.
True. Yeah. You're a DJ. Why are you a DJ?
I love giving everybody a good time.
Boom! Boom, boom, there you go. So, that would be the end of that. I'm going to stop this camera and start it back over so it all don't be one big long. So when I post it up on YouTube, so people, we're going to cut this off, and then we're going to get to the next segment. All right, bam.